Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my Friday Frolics. I don't know about you, but even though I don't work and my days all seem to be the same, I still look forward to Friday. Don't know why. Maybe it's because my daughter's home over the weekend, but we don't see each other that much because she has her things to do and I have my things to do, and we only seem to meet up in the like early in the morning for breakfast and then in the evening after everything is done. But I still look forward to Fridays. I hope you do too. I hope everyone enjoyed the video that I put up. Was it yesterday or Wednesday? I think it was yesterday. Um, it was an RJ Crafts design team video. I don't know about you, but I love, love, love those cutters and silk screens. And I like the silk screens, and I've explained it before, but I like them because the area, when you get a silk screen, usually it's just a little line in the screen. It looks, if your screen is pink or blue or gray, whatever color your silk screen is, the design that's in it is usually little lines that draw a picture. And that little line is the only thing that shows up when you put your paint over it. And that's what you want. You want those little lines. Well, Allison Merritt is the designer for these dragonfly and butterfly sets. And she has kind of reversed it a little bit, where the outline is open and the detail is solid. So and that's not even true. It's not the detail. I don't know exactly how to explain it. But the areas where the color or the mica goes through is so gorgeous, and I'm sure it would work the same with paint. I just haven't tried it with paint. I just love the idea of the mica powders right now, and I'm just exploring different things that I've done with, on that. But I hope you've enjoyed it because I did. Now, I do want to apologize. I've been doing polymer clay for 20 years. And for 20 years, I put my clay in an oven. And I just started using resin a few months ago, and I'm having a hard time putting the clay under my UV light as opposed to putting it in the oven, because to me it still looks like a little oven. And I made the mistake of saying putting it in the oven for 5 minutes. And of course, anybody that works with resin knows you don't put resin in the oven. And I meant under the UV light. And I did put a correction in the first line of the description. It should show up even if people don't click to see more to see everything that's in my description. Explaining that I used the wrong term. So those of you that called it to my attention, I appreciate it. Teresa is fine with it. She's not upset. When I say Teresa, it's Teresa Salgado, because I'm really becoming addicted to her her brush-on UV resin. It is just awesome because you can paint on just the slightest little thin coat, and yet it comes up with such a nice shiny finish. And if you want it thicker, you can go over it and just keep adding coats until it's as thick as you want, and you just cure it in between under the UV light. That's a term I have to get used to using. And maybe it's true, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because I am definitely an old dog now. I feel it more every day. But, I apologize for that. And then someone also called to my attention that I was using different brushes, and that Teresa had researched and found this brush that was really good to use with her resin because it doesn't leave streaks. And I'm sure, it's the brush that comes with your UV resin is awesome. It's a great brush. But it's a little on the large size. It's pretty wide. And on the things that are small, you need a smaller brush, or else you get resin all over everything. So I bought her set of brushes, which are they are awesome. They're the best brushes I think I have ever seen. And I just chose one of those brushes to use that really, it feels similar to her large brush that comes with your set, but it was just smaller. So I used that, and it did not leave streaks, and I'm sure she is fine with that too. If you have a large item like a bowl or something, larger, then by all means use the brush that came with the resin. But it's like getting an art set. Have you ever gotten a watercolor set or an oil paint set and it comes with a brush? And it's like saying you can only use that brush. You can't use any other brush. And that's not true. But I'm sure Teresa doesn't have a problem with you using other brushes as long as you don't blame her for it having streaks. And this brush I tested and it looks fine. There are no streaks. So by all means, if you have a smaller, good brush, and I would recommend Teresa's brushes, then, use a smaller brush. Just be careful that you don't leave streaks. So let's see, what else is going on this week? Monday is your final quilt block. And then I think instead of waiting 2 weeks to do the extra cane, I think I'm going to try to get the cane video done so it'll be the very next Monday. The cane that I said we're going to use with our quilt blocks. So I'm going to try to get that done, and then we will, make our project. And I'm sorry I keep saying the project because I started off with one idea in my head, and it's kind of evolving into something else, whereas if I had said what the project was, I would have been limited to just that. But my mind keeps changing as we go along, and it's going to be fun, whatever I decide to do. But I think I know what I'm going to do. But regardless, we still need this other cane. So let's see what else is going on. Oh, I should have brought my mini book in here. The Richards Mixed Media Club did their project on Monday. He had some technical issues, so he didn't do it last week. And so it was a mini book, and it's all made out of cardstock, and it's really, really cute. Using his digitals, which were, I think I showed them to you. It's like a newsprint background, and then there's birds and birdhouses that are printed over top of it, and I just love it. I really just love it. So if you buy in the kit that comes with the mixed media kit, you got the prints already on the newsprint, but in your digital files that you get by email or however you get your digital files, we got 5 different files because we got the regular ones, then we got just the newsprint, and we got just the birds and birdhouses. So you can take just the newsprint, print that out on a piece of cardstock, and then put it back in your printer and print out something else on top of it. And I think that, it makes an awesome background for your card. So I'm really excited about this one. Got to take Dix, my dog, to the vet today. It's a shame. All this drug abuse now is beginning to affect my dogs, which is crazy. He's got severe arthritis in his back legs and his hip, and he's in a lot of pain. He's in constant pain, and the vet said that we can manage his pain. But in order to manage it, I have to give him Rimadyl and gabapentin together. That the two of them together really work well in dogs. So I was ordering them online at Alavet, and after a while I got a notice from Alavet saying they could no longer ship that to me because they weren't allowed to ship it into Virginia. So I looked it up, and sure enough, because of the opioid crisis, our governor has decided to not allow any mail order drugs that's considered an opiate to be mailed into Virginia. So I had to start getting it at the vet, which is much more expensive. And so then I was getting the Novox, which is another generic for Rimadyl. And my vet started carrying the Novox, so I started buying that from him. And now, so I wasn't getting anything from Alavet. So suddenly the Novox got to be a controlled substance. So I could only get like a 30-day supply of the Novox. And then I called to have the gabapentin refilled. And because it's also considered an opioid, it's now a controlled substance. And they can't give me any more until I take him in for a visit, for an exam, to verify that he needs it for pain. And my vet knows he needs it for pain. But now legally, every 6 months I have to take him in so they can say, yep, he's still in pain, and he'll be in pain the rest of his life. And it's just a shame that the abuse of drugs by people are now beginning to affect dogs. And again, I'll only be able to get a 30-day supply. I've been getting like 100, and I can't get 100 anymore. I'll only be able to get 60, I believe, because he takes 2 a day. So it just makes things complicated, increases my bills. I can't afford to be taking him to the vet when he doesn't need to go. It's bad enough when he needs to go, but I'm a good pet mom, and if he needs to go, I take him. But for him to go just for them, I mean, they already know he's in pain, but and they needed to have my birth date. They needed to know how old I was, as if it made a difference. I'm 72 years old. Do they figure that I'm less likely to use it as a drug as a younger person? If so, is that discrimination? The world is getting just so crazy. Just so crazy. But I want to thank my new patrons that have signed up on Patreon. You won't be charged until the 1st of August. So you will be getting the August video as soon as I decide what it's going to be. My last Patreon video you have these Murphy's Law days. Well, this was a Murphy's Law project. There was one place where I don't know what happened, but one of the segments of the video ended up just being black. I could hear some sounds in the background, but it wasn't even my sounds, but it was black. And so I had to take that out and just put an explanation in there as to what I did during the blackout. But then in, trying to get everything together, it just was a comedy of errors. Aside from the fact that the project I was doing failed, what I wanted to do did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. But so I had to kind of turn it into something else. So I hope my patrons aren't disappointed. But I did include a little extra in their email when I sent them the link to their video that I hope those that are new would appreciate. But it's just been, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's operator error. I don't know if it's my camera. I don't know. All of my videos go on these little memory cards. I bought a new one, and it hasn't happened since then, but I've also been more aware of when the camera's on, when the camera's off, what I do. So I don't know what the problem was, but hopefully whatever it is fixed. Now, if there's a way to fix my brain and my memory, then I'll be in great shape. But let's see, what else is going on? I'm going to another crop tomorrow, and there's a mission project that my church not my church, but a group of us at church are doing on Sunday, where we were going to get together and make cards for residents in nursing homes that they can send to their family, because they don't have access to cards anymore. Most of those people never get out. and they don't have access to cards. So we like to donate them to the nursing homes for them to have something they can send out to their friends and family. And I signed up for it and then realized that Sunday is my aunt's 90th birthday. And my aunt I've always been very close to her. I was the first grandchild. Let's see, let me back up a bit. She's my father's younger sister. It was only the two of them. It was my dad and my Aunt Jean. And I was the first grandchild, and I lived with them. And when Jean was still living at home, I lived with them until I was 2, and then I just moved 2 houses down. And I remember her getting married. I don't remember much about it. I just remember getting out of the car at the church. I don't know why that stuck in my mind, but I remember getting out of the car at the church and seeing her in her pretty blue velvet suit. That's all I remember. But anyway, being the oldest of the grandchildren, and when she was getting married, she and her husband were building a house. And I used to go with them to help them build the house when I say that. The only thing I remember doing is going around. They had dug the foundation, and they were going around the property picking up rocks and throwing it into the foundation before they put the cement in there. And I just thought I was so special because I was getting to help them build their house. And I used to spend a lot of time with her, and we've been very close through all these years. And she's the only one left in that generation in my father's family. And she and her husband, it's real funny, they have 5 children. And every time they had a baby, they had to add a room onto their house. So it was really a cute house, that they ended up with it, and had 4 or 5 bedrooms. It's really nice. But then they were going to build their retirement home, and they went way out close to the eastern shore of Virginia, and up near, not too far from Chesapeake Bay, but it was on the Pianki River, and built a gorgeous home on 20 acres that overlooked the river. And there was a marsh between the house and where their boats were, where the river started. There was a marsh. And they had all kinds of wildlife and birds and, ospreys. And I went out there one time to visit, and her husband had built her this long bird feeder. It was like 8 feet long. But she wanted it for her birds. She loves her birds. And, but anyway, my uncle's memory has gotten really, really bad. I don't think it's Alzheimer's. I just think it's pretty bad dementia. And they were living out in the middle of nowhere by themselves on this 20 acres of land that she was trying to take care of herself. And it was hard for me to visit because I'm sorry to go into such a long story, but she really is special to me. But in order to go visit her, it's almost a 2-hour drive, so it was like a day trip. I had to take the whole day to go visit her and then drive back home. So now her children talked her into coming back to Richmond and moving into an assisted living facility, and her husband is in the memory care of that facility. And it was very traumatic for her. She's only been there about, I think it's 4 weeks now. 3 or 4 weeks. But she's very depressed. I went to see her and tried to tell her that how nice it was that she was closer to me now. But she really, really misses her home and her birds and her wildlife. But she's trying really hard to adapt to being there because she knows her husband needs the memory care. And this way, she's got her own little place right there, and she can go visit him, 2 or 3 times a day. And it's like they're together, but not together, if you understand. She's got her own little apartment. But anyway, they're having a family get-together on Sunday for her 90th birthday, and I know it would mean a lot to her if I'm there. So I'm going to do that instead of doing my mission project. So when I go to my crop tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of cards and take it to church on Sunday morning so that they can add it to their stack of cards that they're going to make on Sunday. So I'm still going to participate. I'm just not going to do it on Sunday. But that's my weekend. I've got a lot going on this weekend, but it's kind of weekends I really enjoyed. The girls that get together for this crop, it's a monthly crop, but we missed one back in this early spring or late winter, early spring, I'm not sure, but we had snow and we couldn't have the meeting then, so we kind of owed everybody a meeting. And we ended up doubling up this month. So I went last Saturday and made some things. And now this Saturday will be our makeup game. So anyway, makeup game. Can tell I had kids in sports. But anyway, I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. I hope your week has been a good one. Keep watching for my videos. I'm going to try to do my RJ Craft videos separate from my regular Monday videos because my regular Monday videos are more generic, making canes and things. And so I'm going to, excuse me. I did go to the doctor Tuesday. Can't find any reason for this cough. They did a chest x-ray. It showed nothing. So I'm assuming it's just drainage. That's all I can think of, but I'm really tired of coughing. But anyway, I was saying I'm going to keep my RJ Crafts videos, the design team videos, separate from my regular Monday videos. So they may pop up any day of the week. So anyway, be kind. Be kind to me as an old lady that sometimes doesn't say her correct words. And be kind to everyone else. There's... what is that? There's a song, Always Be Humble and Kind. I love that. If more people would abide by that, this world would be so much better off. But people are not humble anymore. But anyway, have a great weekend. Have a good week. And join me again on Monday for your quilt block number 5 video. And then come back next Friday for Friday Frolics. Bye-bye.